Hey everybody, welcome into Warp Factor 10, our show about all things Star Trek here on the Arena Productions. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, who's on the bridge with me again for this episode, Burley. Burley, how you doing, man? Of course, we're going to be doing our recap and discussion review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episode 10, titled Hegemony. So before we get into that, how you doing, man?
Well, I'm doing good. How are you, Expat?
Doing good. Yeah, I was so excited to watch this episode. I watched it a few times, and man, it's so good. So I'm really looking forward to talking about this because we're probably going to have a long wait before season 3. But
Yeah, don't remind me of that. That's one thing. It's like,
yeah. But we had a great episode yesterday, so let's go ahead and get into it. But before I start the slideshow and we start talking, I just want to let all of you know that this is a spoiler-filled episode as we review and discuss Season 2, Episode 10 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So if you have not watched the episode yet, please go to Paramount Plus and watch it, and then come back and enjoy our review of the episode, because it's going to be spoiler-filled throughout this episode. So that is your spoiler warning. So Burley, let's go ahead and get into it. So we start the episode on Parnassus Beta, which is actually, it's interesting because it's outside of Federation space. It's like right on the border, but on the outskirts of Federation space. So you see this kind of like a Midwestern style atmosphere here, kind of an agricultural type of society. And of course, the Cayuga and Captain Battelle are there to provide assistance. And of course, Nurse Chapel is basically on for the ride because she's going to her fellowship. And so obviously, it seems like Battelle was going to drop her off. So she is assisting with inoculations of the people there. So what did you think of this atmosphere at the beginning here?
I really liked it. It was just like, okay, we're on this nice, peaceful planet.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, hey, they're doing what they need to do here.
Yeah.
And then I love then it goes to the Pike calling her. And you could just tell Pike wants to really spend some time with her.
Right. And it's interesting how he was bringing up the music from the last episode. At least I'm not singing every 10 minutes. And he's got the coffee cup too, which is interesting. Yeah. So with the Delta on it. And then of course the communication goes out, and Captain Battelle is basically trying to figure out what's going on with communications. And then we see this shuttlecraft flying to the ground here. Looks like it's damaged. And the communications officer, he cannot get in touch with the Cayuga. And so we know that something's going on here. And boy, oh boy, something does go on as the Gorn come in. What did you think of this scene with the ship here?
This was great. They're like, what? We're losing communication. What the heck? And you can hear a little noise, and then just a big loud noise, and then a ship appears. It was just, they did it very well done of them coming in. I loved it.
Yeah, kind of that Independence Day type of feel to how the ships were coming down, right?
I was just about to actually say, it reminded me of Independence Day.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then of course we get the communication with April and telling Pike to stay on the demarcation side of the line and don't cross it. And of course he's reminding Pike that, I know you have a relationship with Captain Battelle. I know you're close to her, but I have to make sure that this isn't going to cloud your judgment. And what's funny about that is he gets Pike gets the communication. Right, we just dropped out of warp, sir. And then he's like, no, there's no problem at all. Pike out.
I love that because you can just tell, like, when Pike's talking with him, he's like, now, Pike, don't do something. Pretty much, don't do something stupid.
Yeah.
Don't go with your emotions. You could just see the rage in Pike's face.
Yeah.
And him being like, yeah. I'm just telling you what you want to hear. I'm going to do things my way. I'm not the Boy Scout today.
Yep. So they get to Parnassus Beta, and they're going around the moon there, and of course they see the Cayuga completely destroyed. And they start to try to look for life signs and everything, but the Gorn have basically put up a communications array blocker so that they can't do any kind of transports or any kind of communication whatsoever with the planet. And this is pretty cool. I liked this part here where Starfleet intelligence has basically been working overtime to figure out how to create some weapons to counter the Gorn. And it's like they were talking about now their tricorders can scan and find the Gorn. And they had those, the grenades as well that would just completely freeze within a 10-meter radius. I mean,
I think they were like nitrogen grenades.
Nitrogen grenades, yes. Yeah. Yeah. And then these cool, like new rifles that, I mean, just are a lot more powerful now, and they can take out some of the Gorn, as we see later on in the episode. But what did you think of the new weaponry here?
Well, I liked it because it was like, okay, how are they going to deal with the Gorn? Because in this show, they have made the Gorn a threat you do not want to mess with. It is not like the 60s, the original series, where Captain Kirk can just fight a guy in a Halloween costume and easily win.
Yeah, we're light years away from that now. Yeah. And so now they're trying to figure out a way to get down to the surface to try to possibly help those in need. And obviously there is a Gorn hunter ship that has come into orbit, and there's no way in hell they're going to be able to cross the demarcation line without that hunter ship just taking them out. So it's cool how Ortegas comes up with an idea of using the debris from the Cayuga and basically becoming some space junk. And I loved how the Walking Dead reference they made, Uhura, she's like zombies, and it's funny how Spock he couldn't get that reference. It's like, The Walking Dead, well, they didn't say The Walking Dead, but I mean basically The Walking Dead, zombies, dress like a zombie, and you can fool the zombies. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
I liked it. Like, this was showing that, like, this was another great scene of just showing them like what Star Trek is about. Like they sit and think things out. They don't just like. It shows you they're running simulations here and figuring out every way we do. We're going to cross this demarcation. They'll cross the line, and the Gorn are going to know about it and go nuts, and they're not going to stand idly by. If we just float well enough, float through here into the Cayugas, the wreckage of the Cayuga, they'll just think we're space debris and not think any of it. Like, it's a really great, ingenious plan and great writing.
Yeah, and a great pilot as well, because Ortegas, man, she's awesome, and she's been wanting to go on these away missions and stuff, and you see like Mabanga and Kirk in the back there, and then of course you're gonna see Pike. They're about to puke, and she's just loving it, man. She's just having a ball, and and it's funny how she says to Pike, I thought you were a pilot, a test pilot, and then he's like, I was. So and then he's like, man, Erica, you were made for this. You were born for this, And of course, we get the scene here with Spock and number one. Spock, of course, thinking about Nurse Chapel, because Nurse Chapel had beamed back up to the Cayuga before it was destroyed. And of course, they see here that sick bay has been completely wiped out. There's no sick bay left. And so Spock is thinking Nurse Chapel is dead, most likely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love this. This just goes back to, he's trying to hold his emotions back, but they're still, even though he is half Vulcan, the human side is getting through the Vulcan side here.
Yep. And now we get to the scene on the ground here, and of course there's a youngling Gorn here looking for food, and they're able to use the new rifles, and they work. So, and it kind of surprised La'an, but it worked on him. So, yeah. And then, of course, then a whole horde of them start running in, and they have to blockade themselves and hide in the building here. And what's interesting is these Gorn didn't attack each other. And La'an was really surprised at that, because in season 1, she was telling the crew that, the younglings, they fight for supremacy, for dominance. But they were working together here on this planet, which was completely different than, what she's used to. So, yeah. And then, of course, Palia here with Uhura. And obviously, Uhura always has a plan,
Yeah.
I mean, I love her character, and I love the actress that plays her. She's awesome. But I mean, it's like almost every episode she's coming up with the way to figure out everything, and to how to solve what's going on. And then, of course, back on the planet, we have Pike and La'an, and she's talking to him about Batel, and talking about how if Batel can deal with you, then the Gorn are no problem whatsoever. So I thought that was a pretty cool conversation.
Yeah.
And then we get to the part, Burley. Yes. So they find this contraption here, and then they meet someone that we weren't expecting, I think, in this episode. Yeah.
No, we were not expecting, but we get Scotty.
Yeah.
And I love this, because we were always wondering, when are we going to get to Scotty? How is he going to be brought in? Is he going to be brought in from the Farragut? How will he be a part? Join Ellen into the show, and it turns out he was on another ship. I forget the name. Pathfinder was the ship, I think.
Yeah, it was some type of science vessel, I think it was.
Yeah.
But
they were attacked by the Gorn. He got on this planet here.
Yeah, he was the only survivor. Only survivor. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's got that ingenuity. I love it. He made a trap. To trap Gorns, making it look like human signals to get him in and just trap him. I love it.
Yeah. So there's that scene there. I want to, if I can. Well, I'm not going to go back to it now, but I thought in that last image there that we saw Freddie Prinze Jr. And I think he might have been an extra in this episode. I'm not sure. Please let me know in the comments if you could find out about that. But I thought that one person, as they walked into the room there to where Pike was looking for Captain Batel, that one other Starfleet officer standing there, that looked like Freddie Prinze Jr. But anyway, so they start talking to Scotty, and Scotty tells him about the solar flares that they were monitoring, I think, and basically that's what set off the Gorn, kind of like locusts in a sense.
Yeah. It's easy to compare the Gorn to locusts, especially when you see them in this episode.
Yeah. So we get Mabanga and Erica here, and they're helping some of the wounded, and of course they're talking about Nurse Chapel and how they miss her, and obviously Erica's talking about how she does a better impersonation of herself, and so then we get we get back to the ship, and obviously they've come up with a plan to take out this beam that's preventing anyone from transporting or getting any kind of communication to the planet, which the Gorn had planted here. And so it's to put rockets on the hull of the Cayuga, the damaged part of the Cayuga, and of course the Gorn won't think about anything, because they'll think it's just a part of the junk that's falling back into the atmosphere. And then Pike is going to go with Batel here to retrieve the device that Scotty had on his shuttle. So what did you think of all of this back and forth, Burley?
I loved it. It was good back and forth between them. They're sitting there, they're all talking, making a plan, and you've got them be like, no, can we do this? No, we can, because of this. As you explained earlier, they'll think it's just the wreckage from the Cayuga. Just all that back and forth. I loved it. And then realizing, okay, gotta grab this one thing from Scotty's ship. We grab this. We can do this.
Yeah.
No, we don't have to lose hope. We can get through this.
Yeah, and I just have to say, this is a part of the episode where, some kind of device always has to malfunction or to die or burn out or something. It's like she comes up to the window, she sees the Enterprise, Nurse Chapel, right? She wakes up and she's able to stabilize the area of the hull that she's in so that there'll be another hour of oxygen left. And she gets a flashlight and she goes up to the window and it looks like she's trying to do an SOS, right? And then the flashlight burns out. Obviously.
Yeah.
It's like you can never win, And but she sees Spock, and it's like Spock like flies right by her, and she's like banging on the window. But it's interesting, Burley, because Spock in this episode, when it comes to this mission here with the rockets, he's saying no human can do this, only I can do it. But he doesn't explain why a human cannot do it. And what is the reasoning for that? Is it because the rockets are too heavy and only a Vulcan's strength could carry them? I didn't get the reasoning behind him saying that only no human could do this.
Or it could be something because the ship is destroyed, some radiation is leaking, and the Vulcan physiology can resist it.
Okay.
It could be the strength, could be that. Who knows? They unfortunately didn't explain it. It was just hey, but you could also take it as he wants to go out there and look because it is Nurse Chapel. He does love her. He does care for her.
Yeah. So anyway, she sees him out there, and so she goes, and obviously there's going to be another, suit to put on there. And she gets to it, and she's going to put it on, obviously. And now we get back to, of course, Scotty and the contraption that he rigged there to, clone the Gorn. And then this other Gorn youngling comes in, and it's about to attack them. And it comes up to Batel, and then just goes away. It doesn't attack her. It doesn't attack Pike or Scotty. He just takes off and just leaves Pike dumbfounded as to why that happened, And then we see the tail. This gave me Alien vibes right here. This big tail,
Oh yeah, this was them being like, we got to do an homage to Alien.
Yeah. And so of course she's and it's intelligent because it's trying to figure out the codes for something. And it doesn't work, and Chapel's got to find a way out of there because that's an adult Gorn, and it's a big boy, all right. But anyway, we get back to Batel, and it the youngling Gorn comes up to her face and then turns around and runs away. And he, like I said, he's just completely dumbfounded as to why that is. And he wants an explanation, and Batel, in the beginning there, just doesn't want to say anything, So then we get back to Spock.
Well, she's basically like, I don't know why the Gorn do things. Gorn are Gorn. Like, leave it at that.
Yeah. So anyway, we get back to the hull of the Cayuga here, and Chapel comes in, and Spock's got that adult Gorn on him, and boy, oh boy, man, that adult Gorn was just a monster. Yeah. And you know what's interesting, Burley, when I watched this? You played Halo, right?
Oh yeah.
You know who the Arbiter is, right?
Oh yes, I know who Arbiter is.
This gave me Arbiter vibes. I mean, from the Halo games. I mean, when I saw the mask and when I saw the body construction and the suit and all, I'm like, it looks like the Arbiter from the Halo games. But anyway, we get this fight, and it just wraps its tail around Spock, and you think that, boy, oh boy. I mean, he knocks the phaser out of Spock's hand, and he's about to kill Spock here. I mean, and then if it wasn't for Nurse Chapel to be able to reach out and grab that phaser, I mean, he would have been dead.
Yeah. You gotta love her quick draw and grabbing that phaser and saving his life.
Yeah, yeah. Gets him in the shoulder, and then Spock's able to take some piece and destroy the helmet, and yeah, freezes him. But yeah, boy, oh boy, that was a big one. So
yeah, that was a big Goran, and I have a feeling this Goran was also going to do to Spock what it did, what Perfect Image here. So yeah, we do get revealed why it didn't attack Patel is because Patel is now a carrier of Goran eggs.
Yeah. And so Pike, obviously, he's not going to give up on her, but she's like, I'm going to fly this thing in, I'm going to fly this thing in and destroy this barrier, and you guys get out of here. But then obviously Spock and Chapel are able to get off the saucer section there, and then it's going to crash in and destroy the beacon, and which gives them the opportunity to escape and get back to the Enterprise. And it's interesting how Spock and Nurse Chapel get in, as well as Pike and Scotty and Batel. But here we have the others. You have La'an, you have Ortegas, you have M'Benga, you have Sam Kirk, and all these other people. It looks like they're beaming up. You think they're beaming back up, but that is not a Federation beam. That is a Gorn beam. So basically, the Gorn are beaming them up onto their ships, but we don't see that until towards the end. But anyway, Chapel's back, and Pike is really happy to see her and all. And then she tells Nurse Chapel about Batel and that she's been infected, and so they have to put up like a stasis field around her. And Chapel, of course, here is making sure that that she's going to do her best, and she tells that to Pike. And then I love this part here where Scotty meets his old instructor, Halia.
Yeah. My best student, but with the worst grades.
Yeah.
That was funny. But I do like the exchange of line between Nurse Chapel and Patel, because Patel's like, if you can't get rid of these, just kill me.
Yeah.
And you can see it on Pike's face. He's like, he does not want to accept that.
Yeah. And then now they find out that the others have been beamed onto the Gorn ship, and then we get a Gorn attack cruiser, a Gorn battleship coming in, and then there's like 4 other Gorn ships that come in, other hunter ships, and they start attacking the Enterprise. And they're taking some serious damage. And of course, the Admiral had ordered them to get out of there. And you see here with the Gorn eggs, it's getting close to where they're going to hatch pretty soon. And they're asking Pike orders, because they're taking some serious damage here. And that's when the episode ends. And it says to be continued. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that was like, because I'm watching the timer as the thing, and I'm like, this is like a 50-minute episode if you don't count the intro, and it's like, okay, we're getting close. Like, how fast are they going to resolve all this? And then you're realizing as it gets closer and closer, they're not going to be able to resolve all this before the episode ends. And it's just like a cliffhanger. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good cliffhanger because it really gets me excited for season 3. Problem is now with the strikes and all, who knows the hell when we're going to get season 3.
Right now they're speculating late 2024, maybe early 2025. Yeah, that's what they're speculating at the moment, unfortunately. But let's talk for a minute before we end the episode. Let's talk for a minute about what we think is going to happen in the first episode of season 3. Does Batel make it? Does Scotty and Palia work together to create some kind of a clone device or whatever, and to be able to fool the Gorn? who's going to come out of this. Obviously, Laon and Mabanga and Ortegas and Kirk are on the Gorn ship. Are we going to lose any of them? What do you think, Burley?
Patel, I think we're going to lose her. Okay. Whether it's they can't get the Gorn eggs, or she does some kind of self-sacrifice in the next episode. I don't know how it's going to go, but I think we're going to lose her. But yeah, Scotty and Paley are going to work together, and they'll figure something out. Yeah. You got Scotty, you got her. They're both brilliant engineers. You know something awesome's going to come out.
Could they kill Palea off and then make Scotty chief engineer in season 3?
I don't think they're going to kill her off. I think she'll be like, okay, now you've got Scotty here.
Yeah,
I'm going to go back. You've got my best student. Scotty's now aboard the Enterprise.
Okay. So yeah, it would kind of be strange for Carol Kane to only be on for one season, you know. But I mean, I could see Scotty becoming her mentor and staying on the Enterprise, and then when Palea leaves, or something happens to her later, then he becomes the chief engineer. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, you know, they might kill Kirk's brother off, you know, because he's saying he wanted to study them more. And then, you know, that part in the episode where Lawn's like with a phaser, you know? So I don't know, man. And you're going to have a bunch of adult Gorns on that ship. So that's going to be interesting, how they fare. And how many of those colonists, if any of them, will survive. So we shall see. But yeah, awesome episode, and really excited for season 3. You know, it can't come soon enough. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be a while, but yeah, this was a great episode and a great season. And we're hoping to do a full season review for all of you. Maybe in the next week or two, we're going to put that up here on the channel. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, Burley, final thoughts?
Great episode, great season. I think they nailed it out of the park yet again in season 2, this whole season. So can't wait to do the video where we discuss the rest of the season on it. And I'm eagerly waiting season 3. Come on, Hollywood, cave and just work with the actors and writers.
Yes.
I want another season of this soon. That cliffhanger is like, it's not as good as Best of Both Worlds, but it's up there on that level. Yeah, for sure. So just want to let you all know also that we do have a Patreon over at patreon.com/The Arena Productions, and you can see all of our Warp Factor 10 content over there ad-free, as well as all of our other content that we put up here on The Arena Productions, as well as exclusive content over there as well. So go check out our Patreon and come and help support our content creation over here on The Arena Productions. Yeah, we'd really appreciate that. So anyway, so I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley. We hope to catch you in the next episode of Warp Factor 10, where we will be doing a Season 2 review coming up in the next week or two. And then, of course, next month, we get Season 4 of Star Trek Lower Decks, and we'll be bringing you each week a review and discussion episode of each and every one of the episodes that come out during Season 4. So anyway, I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley. Take care, and we hope to catch you in the next one. So live long and prosper, and take care, everyone. Peace. Bye, everyone.
Out.